What's up, Tube? Welcome back to Low Guido's Chop Shop, second best gel blaster channel on the tubes. And today I'm going to talk about growing gels. It's something that seems like it should be kind of self-explanatory, but you know, everyone's got their little techniques and methods of growing gels. So one of the things you get thrown around a lot, you hear everywhere you go, is people saying the term control grow. Control grow. They control grow their gels. And the idea behind this is that you grow them for a set period of time so that you can control the size that they come out. Particularly trying to make them smaller so that they fit into tight bore barrels, or that they don't overgrow and you get jams in the mags and stuff like that. So certain gels have had you know, a bit of a reputation for growing too big, and these days, given the fact that most of the gels are hardened gels, they don't squash down as easily as the earlier gels, and so they can jam up things if they're too big. Mags, barrels, T-pieces, you can end up getting jams. So yeah, people do this thing that they like to call control growing. And so what I'm going to do today is test the whole control grow theory, whether it actually is worthwhile or not. I mean, I've got my beliefs, and everyone's got their beliefs, but let's do it. Let's see what happens. I'm going to take some gels, and they're going to be what have I got here? I got the Primal Tech gels here, and I'm going to be using them purely because I've got them here, not because I do or do not like them or anything like that. It's just because that's what I've got here today handy. So that's what I'm going to be using, and I'm going to get a bunch of cups and I'll do a controlled grow. And so I'll do it in increments, I'll do it in stages. I'll do like every half hour, and I'll probably go from, I think, from half an hour to 4 hours, because that's, I think, those are the general sort of times that people want to control grow for. Okay, so I've got a bunch of cups here that I'm going to fill up with water. And then I'm going to put a small amount of gels in each every half hour. So start off, fill the cups up with some demineralized water, and then what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll put a spoonful in each cup for, oh, there's the spill. I knew it had to come sooner or later. Put a spoonful in each cup until I come back, and I'm going to need a little bit more water. But yeah, and so eventually we'll have 4 hours, 3.5, 3, 2.5, 2, 1.5, 1.5, if that makes sense. Alright, I just got to get another bottle of water. Alright. Top that one off. Okay, now we will start with this one, and then see you in half an hour. Alright, we're nearly half an hour in here, and these ones, which will eventually be the 4-hour ones, you can see they've taken on some water. I kind of want to show what's going on, but I might leave that until we get to the end here. Actually, it's still got a few more minutes, so maybe I will look at it. Now, it is really hard to capture this, particularly on video, particularly because I don't have like a really good macro lens to get right in there. But it's if you can see the way that gels work, they start absorbing water from the outside. So you might be able to see the outer shell, if you can call it a shell, is almost transparent, and the inside is still sort of dry, I guess. It hasn't absorbed as much water as the outside. The outside has started absorbing more water than the inside, and that's the way gels work. Like the outer skin of the gel, for lack of a better word, starts absorbing the water quickest, and then as time goes on, water works its way into the middle. And I don't know if you can see on camera, but these gels at this point in time are anything but round. They are all sorts of weird shapes. Let me see if I can get in closer and get a better look for you. Unfortunately, that's about as good as I can get with my camera. But yeah, if you look, you'll see. If you've ever watched a gel grow, you'll notice it doesn't grow evenly. So it kind of starts growing from one spot, and then it kind of just randomly grows in different areas, until eventually, when it's fully grown, it becomes a sphere. So I think what a lot of people kind of assume, I don't know if you can see this, you start with a small gel. Maybe I'll zoom in. So people assume that you start with this small gel like this, and then it just grows evenly in all directions until you get a bigger gel. It just sort of grows evenly in all directions. However, that's not how it works in real life. In real life, it starts this, and then you might get a section here grow, and then this section doesn't really grow, and then that section grows, and then that bit, and you end up with like these weird disformed gels that kind of look anything but spherical. And it's kind of, I guess, at this point that you ask, or I ask, what's more important to you? Gels that are of a smaller size, or gels that are consistently round? Because I know what I would prefer, and that's round gels. So in my opinion, it's more beneficial to have consistently round gels than small gels, or smaller gels that are not round or not consistently sized. And I mean, that's the thing you got to think of. Aerodynamics, as this thing's flying through the air, you want it basically to be as spherical as possible, because that's what's going to give you accuracy. If you've ever wondered why gels kind of spontaneously whip off to the left and right, it's because if you've ever had one of those spin balls, do you remember you used to be able to get those spin balls? They look like a tennis ball, but they were smooth on one side, and they were kind of furry like a tennis ball on the other side, and so when you bowl them, you could curve the balls. And that's all about aerodynamics and a little bit of Magnus effect, but more to do with the like drag, because if you create more drag on the furry side, then it will spin more in one direction, and then the Magnus effect, of course, will cause the ball to curve in that direction. And I mean, the same thing happens with gels, right? This is how we get hop-ups and everything to work. We spin them in a backwards direction to try and get them to counter the effects of gravity and continue straight. However, if you spin them left or right, of course they're going to swing left or right. Inevitably, if they're not circular, or not spherical, I should say, when they are flying through the air, they're sure as heck not going to go straight. So, I mean, in my opinion, the whole idea of getting gels accurate, and I mean, one of the reasons that we like harder gels is because they don't deform their shape in the air. It's not because they hurt more when they hit you, it's because they don't deform, so you can get that better accuracy and longer distance with them. The ones that deform in the air, or the ones that are not shaped like a sphere and spin off in all sorts of random directions, they're the exact opposite of accuracy. That's what we're trying to avoid. And I guess I'm jumping the gun a little bit here, but with this gel already been in there for half an hour, I can already tell exactly what's going to happen when I get to this stage. When half an hour, I'm going to come out with some disfigured gels that aren't round and aren't going to fly right. So anyway, I'll not jump the gun too quickly. We'll continue the experiment, and I'll see you again in another half hour to fill that next one. Alright, here we are, another half hour, another scoop of gels. I'll try not to talk too much this time. There we go, see you in another half hour. Alright, half hour later, another scoop. There we go, see you in half hour. Okay, another half an hour, another scoop. Okay, so this is pretty interesting. Over here, these are the ones that I've most recently put in. They're at 10 minutes ago, these ones. These ones, half an hour, well, 40 minutes now, 40 minutes ago. You can see all those weird and wonderful shapes that certainly aren't cylinders, certainly aren't spheres in that cup. I'm just going to pan this across. check out some of these shapes here. So they're 40 minutes ago. These ones here, like an hour and 10 minutes over here, you can see the centers of the balls still very much have not absorbed water, and there's some weird looking ones there too. Like some of them even look like they've got, well, some of them have even got two centers, like two center cores that haven't absorbed the water, and it just goes to show that they don't swell evenly as you kind of expect. Here's the hour and a halves. Let me just move across a bit there, get a better shot. Hour and a half here, you can still see very clearly some dry cores that have not yet absorbed. Definitely not spherical. All sorts of wild shapes. Look at that one. Can you see that one? This one here, look at that. That one's like, it's like a, looks like Kermit the Frog. Yeah, very much not spherical. Maybe if you do this at home for yourselves and just watch them, you can see the weird and wonderful shapes. Okay, I'm just going to move across. This is the first cup that I started with. That is the first lot that is it's only literally just gone visibly like fully saturated, I would say. And they're probably not fully saturated, they're just visually fully saturated. I can't see any dry cores, and that would be the 1.5, 2. That's 2 hours. So that's 2 hours and 10 minutes now. 2 hours and 10 minutes. So just gone on 2 hours. So I'd say the minimum time you could grow any gel would have to be 2 hours at room temperature. Anyway, I'll have to check the thermometer what the actual temperature is in here at the moment. I'd take a guess, probably around 24 or something like that. But yeah, so room temperature 2 hours to fully saturate a gel to the point where there's no dry core still present. So far very interesting just to look at, just to watch. It'll be even more interesting when we get down to the like measuring and playing around with them once they're out of the water. Especially these like halfers and hour and a half type ones. They're going to be very weird. All right, see you in another 15 minutes, I guess. Oh gosh, is it that time already? It sure is. Time to put another scoop in. Oh, last one. Get him. Alright. Let's let those soak. Come back in another halfer. Actually, before I go, I just want to zoom in on one of these 2 hour gels down here, so you can see what I was saying before. Okay, hopefully you can see it. There is one just here where you can still see a non-saturated core, and these ones have been in there for 2 hours. So yeah, there's actually a couple down there, quite a few down there in the bottom that you can see where they're still not fully soaked after 2 hours. Alright, half an hour later. Feels like it was just seconds ago. Fortunately I got the power of video editing. Fortunately for you. Alright, see you in another halfer. That'll be the last one too. Alright, time for the last spoon. And here we go. Alright, see you in half an hour, and then I will completely drain these as quickly as I can. As soon as half an hour is up, I'm going to quickly drain out all the water so that they stop growing. And then we'll start comparing them. Alright, here we go. I'm going to quickly drain these off, and then we'll be able to have a look at them. So 4 hours, full 4 hours, 3.5. Three. Now it's just 2.5. Riveting stuff here, me draining the water off of my nose. I know, it's crazy. Oops, I just dropped a couple. That's alright. What am I up to here? 4, 3.5, 3, 2.5, 2. This is 2. Is that right? No, half, 1, 1.5, 2. Yep, that was 2. This is 1.5. Now, an interesting thing, I don't know if you can see this on the camera. An interesting thing once you drain them, looking at these, you can see they're not fully hydrated when they're in the water, because you can see right through to the core. When you, oh no, you can. I was going to say, when you take them out of the water, it's not as obvious, but you can actually see. This is interesting. This is cool. These oh man, these 1.5 ones. Oh, I got to quickly drain these out, but I want to show you some of that. That is good. That is good. I want to get some of them onto the pink mat, the pink towel, and zoom right in. These are the 1 hour ones. Drain out as much water as I can there. And the halfers. Wow, these halfers, some of them still on the bottom of the cup, stuck to it. And as I said, I'm draining them all in front of the camera here for you, because I'm sure there's going to be some idiot who's going to claim that I've tampered with the results or something, for reasons that I don't even understand, that I have no stake in. I might want to alter the results or something. I don't know, people are weird. Alright, cool. This is the end result. Let's get the mat and zoom in. Alright, so I got the pink towel here. Get some of the halfers in there. Can you see these? Nope, because they're not on camera. Alright, look at those bad boys. These are the half-hour ones. Hang on, let me zoom in a bit more. Alright, look at those. Look at how wonky they are. Alright, look at how wonky those things are. They're crazy wonky. Look, these aren't even circular. They're crazy weird shapes. I don't even know if, like, I don't think the video can do justice to how wonky and weird these are. As you can see, because they don't grow evenly from like all angles. They sort of grow, like, you know, a little bit out here, and eventually they like pop out into what's as close to a sphere as we can kind of get. Now let's get they're the halfers. These are the 1 hours. Some of these 1 hours out here. Again, we got bigger. So we got bigger, but you can see they're still got odd shapes in the core. And check out these guys. These guys are weird here. Look at this guy here. Look, what even shape is that? Like, the outsides are they're closer to a circle than these. These are like these are kind of, I don't even know how to explain these. They look like little brains. They're little weird, odd shapes. The first bunch, but these ones are closer to a circle. Not quite a circle. Let's check the hour and a halves. The hour and a halves. Alright, here we go. The hour and a halves. You can still see that they're not fully hydrated. You can see there's some wonkiness going on in the core here. They're a bit more spherical than these. Like these ones, these kind of look a bit like jelly beans. These ones kind of jelly beanish, but a little bit more spherical, but not much. Let me just get a caliper on this one. This is a 6.3, 6.4 in some axes. This one is, oh, if I can even get it on the caliper. This one's a little bit bigger, 6.7, 7.0, 7.1, 7.2, that one. So, despite, that's interesting, despite being not even fully grown, that one's already at 7.2. Let's pick this one here, which is a little bit wonky and weird. Oh, that's not obviously smaller than 7.2 because it fell straight through. Alright, that's about 7.1. That one. I suppose you could use these, but they would not be accurate because they're not fully spherical. They're a bit wonky, and I imagine that there'd be a lot more of these undersized jobbies like that as well. Given that they're all in there the same amount of time, you'd expect that they grow the same amount, wouldn't you? But they don't. So, alright, let's go next. This is the 2 hours. 2 hours now, I think I might have mentioned that 2 hours was the first lot that I saw that was like looking like they were basically fully grown. I can't see any in this particular glass that haven't fully, well, when I say fully grown, I mean they haven't got any obvious dehydrated sections in the center like some of these have got. I'll just measure one of these. They still don't look incredibly spherical, but they look a bit more spherical, and as we go, they seem to get a little bit more spherical each time. 7.47 that one was. These are only the 2 hour jobs. It's quite large, even for 2 hours. That's interesting. Let's measure this one. 7.4, 7.5, 7.6, 7.7. You kidding me? 7.78 before that one fell through, and they're only 2 hours. Alright, let's move it along to the, so we've got 2.5 hours. Now I expect these 2.5 hour ones to be probably about as fully grown as you could. I think from this point onwards there's not really going to be any difference. I mean, I've done tests in the past where I measure from 4 hours through to just soaked overnight, and yeah, no difference. So 7.5, 7.6. Yeah, I think we're gonna see similar results basically for the next. So what do we got? So we got half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. I think the 3, 3.5, and 4 are all gonna net like the same results. But here we go. There's some 3s. They're looking pretty much the same. We're not seeing too much difference between the 3s and the 2.5, 2.5s. 2s, 2.5s, 3s, 4s. They're all, that one was 7.4-ish. We got some 3.5s here. Again, I mean, these ones, I think these are as grown as you're going to get. I think the last 3 lots are all pretty much the same. This one's 7.5, 7.6. Yeah, so I mean, what do we got? They're all quite large. And finally, we got the 4-hour grows here. And again, they don't look too different from the 3s, 3.5s, or the 2.5s. I'll just do a measure on one. .5-ish, 7.59, and yeah, they look pretty much the same as the rest of the last 3 or 4 batches. Alright, so basically if you control growing anything less than 2 hours, you're going to get substandard gels that aren't round or odd shaped and disfigured and kind of like probably even undersized. And then if you grow anything from like 2 hours to 4 hours to overnight, you're actually not gaining or losing anything anyway. So they're like everything from about 2 hours onwards to 4 hours, and even if you just left them overnight, all yield about the same results. They all come out pretty much the same. So the only way you can really change the size of your gels is to let them fully grow for 4 hours and then to filter them into larger or smaller size categories with some sort of filter. Just getting them out early doesn't make them smaller, it makes them shittier. And there's no way you're getting any kind of accuracy with these, or these. This is kind of borderline, and then the rest of it is like pretty much standard. From here on, you're all pretty much the same anyway. So, yeah, anyone who says controlled grow gels just doesn't know what they're talking about. Yeah, this I don't know what else to say. Myth busted. Let's call it. Alright, if you like what I'm doing here, don't forget to hit me up to get a patch, or you can click the link below to buy me a coffee. And shout outs to those who have bought me a coffee lately. We have shout outs to someone. He was anonymous, but I know that his name was Knight on the Gelsoft AU Discord. Also shout outs to JJSI. And shout outs to More by Nature, all awesome dudes who bought me a coffee recently. Thanks for watching this, and I'll catch you next time.